to know everything that we put into this day in and day out, try our hardest. Nobody comes in the game wanting or expecting to lose, and for people to react that way when you're supposed to be a supporter and be with us through thick and thin, that's tough.
They were aiming at the referees.
Yeah, they were at the referees.
Well, shit, credit to them then.
That's not taking.
Yeah.
They weren't doing it.
Oh, well, credit to them.
And look, that kind of came off as a joke. He was asked the follow-up question, do you really mean, and he made it clear he really means that, which was problematic to say the least. It took him 2 days to walk it back. It was only after the NBA Referees Association issued a scathing statement on Tuesday, not the NFL, not the NFL Referees Association, but the NBA Referees Association issued its statement. Dak Prescott apologized. The apology wasn't enough, Peter. Reportedly fined $25,000 for his comments, condoning, if not encouraging, fans throwing objects onto the field at game officials when unhappy with the performance of those officials. Obviously, that's a bright line. It was stunning to me that anyone would express support, acknowledgement, encouragement of that kind of thing. And I kind of think that $25,000 isn't enough to send the message loudly and clearly that this kind of stuff can't be tolerated.
I was really surprised, and it just, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised. I mean, I was really surprised at what Prescott said and did after the game. You know, to me, the Dallas Cowboys, this is just symptomatic of the fact that, in my opinion anyway, I think Mike McCarthy needs to stand up in front of the team in his first meeting in the off season, and he's got to say, stop blaming the officials. Stop it. Stop it. Somebody put out on Twitter the other day, Mike, there are 14 penalties. 13 of them, you know, they had video of them. 13 were absolutely legitimate, and one was a little bit marginal. But the Cowboys are not getting cheap calls. Okay, I mean, look, everybody gets a bad call now and then. Everybody. But the Cowboys, you know, late in the year became a bunch of whiners. And that is unbecoming of any team, but particularly, in my opinion, a team led by a guy like Dak Prescott, who, in my opinion, is one of the ultimate stand-up guys, good human beings, good people in the NFL. And that's why I thought what he did after the game was really beyond the pale. I could not believe it. And, you know, you can't advocate for people throwing things at officials. I'm glad he finally came out about it, but and apologized for it. And he should apologize for it. And as for how much the fine is, 25 or 50, I don't know really what the big deal is. It doesn't really matter. It's very symbolic. But to me, I just think they've got to turn over a new leaf and start looking at what they do, not how the outside world is persecuting them.
They have become very good at externalizing blame. It's never their fault. All the penalties, they're mad about the penalties. Well, don't commit infractions of the rules and you won't be penalized. These aren't phantom fouls that are being thrown. You are breaking the rules, and those are the consequences. They're not going to look the other way just because you have a star on your helmet. And, you know, that's all of the noise coming from Prescott or Mike McCarthy after the game about the last play. It's your own damn fault. Get out of the umpire's way. Tell the umpire before the play, hey, we're going to run here. You better be ready to get down there and spot the ball, and then move your ass. Get out of the way. What did they expect? They expect him to jump over top. They expect him to shoot through Dak Prescott's legs. That's the most important part of the play. What other play is there in football where the most important part of the play is what happens when the play has ended? The most important part of that play was to get out of the way. But no, it's somebody else's fault. No, the officials screwed us on this. No, the umpire should have gotten down there. Baloney, baloney, baloney. It's on the Cowboys. And there's this defect, and I don't get it, Peter, where they expect the rules and the application of the rules to be skewed in their favor. And they expect everyone to go above and beyond for them instead of them taking care of their own backyard. It's amazing to me that that's what the Cowboys have become.
You know, in a related note, thought it was really interesting what Mike Pereira said, the former vice president of officiating in the NFL. Thought it was really interesting what he said on the Rich Eisen show. And he made 2 points. Number one, understand that the reason why the umpire was late, kind of late in getting there, is because the umpire starts from 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and he has to catch up on a play like that. It used to be that umpires used to be middle linebackers. And they moved the umpire from there for 2 reasons. Number one, offenses were using umpires as legal pick play guys, just run your defender into the umpire on crossing routes across the middle. And it was also because they were, quite frankly, just in the way too many times, and it was too dangerous for them to be there. They were getting plowed over. So they moved them back, and that was the result of this. And so the other thing is, Mike, for Dak Prescott to say after the game that, hey, look, I gave the ball to my center. That's how we're coached, not to the umpire. I mean, you got to be looking for an official, not your center. And Mike McCarthy, in my opinion, has to, in this offseason, when they re-drill that play and what to do in end of game situations, you got to give the ball to the umpire. Look for the nearest official.
And I know the Cowboys have made it clear they're not considering making a change at head coach. That's their prerogative. That's one of the benefits of being an oligarch owner who can decide what you want to do when it comes to who your coach is going to be. But the fact that they didn't already have that figured out, and the apparent reality, Peter, that when they practice that play, they probably don't have somebody simulating the role of umpire, the most important person on the field, to get in position and spot the ball. I've said several times this week, I've come to the conclusion after 20 years of doing this, there's a handful of great coaches and then there's everybody else. And the great coaches have obsessive attention to detail. And the great coaches, if Bill Belichick was going to pin his team's hopes for the season on one play, that play in that moment, you better believe Belichick's telling the umpire before the play, coming out of a timeout, be ready to get on your horse and get down there and spot the ball. Number two, his guys are going to know, don't give the ball to the center, give the ball to the official. And number three, get your ass out of the way so the umpire can get in position to do his job, because he's the most important person on the field after this play.
Agree with everything you said. And it's like, Mike, over the years, I've seen this 2 or 3 times, mostly when Bill Parcells was the coach. I've seen coaches work on weird plays and weird situations in games. One time I was writing for Sports Illustrated when Parcells took over the Cowboys. They're at training camp at the Alamo Dome, and they're inside, and Parcells spends a 15-minute period on what he calls these weird situations. And one of them was your punter, when late in the game or late in the half, when you're trying to burn time, run around until you're going to get tackled and then throw the ball out of the back of the end zone. In other words, take the safety. The most important thing is burning as much time off the clock as you can. So those are the kind of things that I think smart coaches do. And I think Mike McCarthy, this coming off season, has to work on penalties first and foremost. And then he's got to work on weird situations.
It's the ultimate Bill Belichick approach to the game, understanding the rules to the letter and coming up with a plan for exploiting those rules in your team's favor under any set of circumstances. We've seen him do crazy things that when we do them, we're thinking, why is he doing that? Oh. Now I know why he's doing it. He's taking full advantage of the rules as written to help him win the game. And if you are going to pin your entire season on that play, you better have coached it better, and you better be damn sure your players executed better, and that's where the failure was. And that's why, setting everything else aside. And that last play has been a great distraction from the fact that the Cowboys got their asses kicked for most of the game by the 49ers and were not able to perform at the level we'd come to expect all year. Setting all that aside, the mere fact that when the season was on the line, it all short-circuited and it exposed that flaw. If I owned the Cowboys, and Cowboys fans everywhere should be very glad that I don't, if I owned the Cowboys, I would be engaging in a very careful, deliberate review as to whether or not this coach has sufficient attention to detail to provide that difference. And we see how razor thin it can be. Is this coach capable of providing my team with that razor thin difference that's going to come to fruition somehow, some way, at some point, and it's going to be the difference between getting my hands on a Super Bowl trophy or watching someone else do it?
Hey, two other quick things about the Cowboys. One, I think everybody acts in saying, oh, my God, they got screwed with the clock at the end of the game, the officials, blah, 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 blah. Just understand one thing. In an ideal world, that play is going to end with 2 seconds left on the clock, all right? And the Cowboys then, from the 25-yard line, having 4 or 5 wides spread across the field and running like 5 verticals, as McCarthy said after the game. And, the odds of that resulting in a touchdown, I'm not saying they're 4%, but they're sure not 40%. So, it's still very unlikely that they are going to win that game. But the other thing is, Dak Prescott played a C or C- football game, period. Your franchise quarterback has to be better as a football player for 4 quarters than Dak Prescott was in that game.
Absolutely. And, just like the league was very happy that the Cassius Marsh taunting foul from the Monday night game between the Bears and Steelers provided a great cover for the more egregious error that Tony Corrente made in that game by calling a low block when he never should have in a million years. It's got to be good for the Cowboys to have all this talk about the last play covering up the fact that they had a horrible game and they never should have been in position to even have a chance to win.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.